Hello and welcome to round 2 of the British Enduro Championship series for 2005. It's the Brechfa Enduro, which takes place on the 17th of April. The event is organised by the Dyfed Dirt Bike Club based at Lampeter, and this is a newly formed club, been going for just over 12 months. And the club is being helped today by members from Wetra and other members from clubs in South and Mid Wales. It's very much a team effort. Let's hope they don't get blown away. Local man William Jones from Ystrad Meirig, and he's a member of the Dyfed Dirt Bike Club. Number 10 is Chris Hockey from Colchester, riding a Husky 250, a 4-stroke. These championship riders are starting what's going to be a long day for them. They're supposed to be doing 5 laps of the course. That's Wayne Braybrook, number 13. And if everything goes according to plan, they should finish around 5 o'clock. Jason Fraser has just gone through, and he was followed by number 14, Chris Birch. A TM rider, that was Jake Stapleton. Paul Edmondson is one of 24 riders in the E2 class. And he must be the favourite in that class today. He won it at the Breckland and finished second overall in round 1. That's number 8, Tim Lewis, a little bit late away. That's number 20, Martin Lear from Bristol on a Kawasaki 250. The Gas rider, Paul Wibley from Buxton. And number 35 is Paul Bolton on the Beta 450. I saw him a few weeks ago at the Wirral off-road event. And here comes the rider they've all got to beat. It's number 38, David Knight. I remember at the championship round back in 1999, it was David who took the Premier Award. 39. It was Andy Cripps following David. Now we're on to the experts, and these riders will be doing 4 laps of the course. Well, that's weather permitting. Number 51 there was Simon Evans, followed by number 50, Jack Johns. And number 53 was Anthony Dean on a Yamaha 250, a 4-stroke. John Hinham on the Husky 125. He was at the 2-man team event last weekend, and I got him mixed up with his partner all day. Darren Wheeler has just gone through, and number 55, that's Sean Robinson. Brechfa Forest, and we're going to see some of the going between check 2 and check 3. This is an 18-mile check, and it's going to be a tough one. The riders will be coming up the road, and then they go down into the trees. And here comes the first of the championship riders, Edward Jones. Remember, they have done one test. Edward did a cracking time, 228 seconds. Number 2 there, that's Simon Wakely. His test time was 2:37. Edward second fastest on the test, and only a fraction of a second down on David Knight. Number 4, Darrell Bolter. He finished 7th overall at the Breckland. And number 5, Ricky Meyer. I remember seeing him earlier this year at the Snow Run. Jack Twentyman from Cornwall. I think this is his first year in the championship class. And here comes Paul Edmondson, his first test, 2:32. That was the 3rd fastest time. And just look at the difference in the ride in there. Jack is struggling a bit, and Paul is stood up on the pegs. And here comes the leader after the first special test. It's David Knight, and he's just under a 1/10 of a second up on Edward Jones, and he's about 4 seconds up on Paul Edmondson. The first of the experts, Simon Evans, his test time 2:66. I would think that'll put him in the top 10. Anthony Dean from Stamford. Oh, and he's only been going for about 50 minutes, and he looks tired already. Remember, this part of the course for the championship and expert riders only. Hopefully the Clubman riders will be on a slightly easier part. That looked like number 57. It's John Hinham from Lancarvan, a good first test, 262 seconds. Darren Wheeler from Abingdon, just under a second down on John. That's 55. Sean Robinson from Cleveland, a good test, 2:59. And I see at the Breckland he finished 7th overall. And number 71, Greg Evans from Pontypridd on the Kawasaki. He took the Premier Award at the Breckland. Had a good test here this morning, 2:66. And it's okay, Greg, you don't really have to stop. There's not much more I can say about you at the moment. Keith Jones from Kings Langley. He was at the two-man Hare and Hounds last weekend. Oh, and he's found a deep rut there. 37. That's Martin Lewis from Llangurig. Nick Grundy, number 86. I think his bike is getting a bit warm. And having a bit of trouble with the ruts, Michael Seward from York. Number 92, Stephen Davis from Craven Arms. I think he was at the two-man team event last weekend. Craig Bounds, he was the Iron Man at the two-man team event last weekend. He did 23 laps, all on his own. Gethin Price from 100 House, he won the Snow Run Enduro earlier this year and just missed to get a top 20 place at the Breckland. This one is smoking a little bit. 120, that was Pat Goodwin from Stockport. Here comes the first of the Clubman riders. It's number 153, Hugh Watkins from Blackwood, and he's in the over 40s class. 151, that's Martin Field. Wayne Goldin from Blackwood. We've got about 35 riders in the over 40s. That was Glenn Foxwell, and number 161 there, Roger Shaw. This is a Honda rider, Ashley Wood, and he finished 3rd overall at the Breckland. 208, I think it was Colin James from Dawston. I told you a minute or two ago there was something a little bit odd going on, and here's the problem, quite a difficult hill climb up through the trees. And remember, this part of the course is for the Clubman riders only. Well, it's supposed to be a little bit better than the route we saw for the Championship and Expert riders. Phil Cooper in the Army MCA team. Someone stood up on the pegs then, that's the way to do it. John Beattie, he's in the over 40s. Kurt Luby from Bolton, I think he rode the Breckland earlier this year. 265, that was Paul Boother from Swansea. That's not a good place to stop there. That rider will need some help now. Paul Waters goes down in a heap, and I think his leg was under the bike. I hope he's okay. He's definitely hurt his leg. He's limping. And just look at the stones flying everywhere. Number 283, Tim Whitefield about to go, and just look at the queue. And I would think some of the riders have been in that queue for at least 20 minutes. And now I'm heading back to the spot where the course splits. The experts and championship riders go to the right, and the Clubman riders come up this way, and those are some of the championship riders over there. Number 24 was Paul Wibley, followed by Ryan Vose. And Ryan's second test time much quicker, 2:37 on lap 1. He did a 2:54. This is David Knight. And I'm not sure that he quite intended to do it like that. It's not really what you'd expect of a rider who's won the first two World Championship rounds this year. Don't worry, David, we won't tell anyone. I suppose I better tell you he has won the second test with a time of 2:27, and that's 6 seconds quicker than Paul Edmondson. Oh. Paul Bolton wasn't too sure if he was on the right line, and I think it's easier up there than it is on the Clubman route. Andy Cripps off to a slow start on his first test, 270 seconds. Then he did a 2:55. I can remember this spot from several years ago when I used to come and film the Brechfa. In those days it was a British Championship round for the sidecars, and I remember one year they had to have a winch shear to winch the chairs up. Oh, good stuff, Anthony. You've just splattered the assistant clerk of the course with stones. And the rider just behind him there, number 55, Sean Robinson. Sean's had a couple of good tests, 2:59 and a 2:56. Remember, he finished 7th overall at the Breckland and 4th on the first day. 57, that was John Hinham. First test, 2:62. Then he did a 2:73. Darren Wheeler, he had two good tests, both around 2:63. Winhope, runner-up at this event in 1999. He was beaten that day by Ewan McConnell. His test times 2:72, 2:67. He's getting quicker. Rob Warner from Henley, a couple of good tests, 2:60, then a 2:63. Darren Wilcock, I wonder, did he have trouble starting that bike this morning? Greg Evans from Pontypridd, remember he won the Breckland. His times today, 2:66 and 2:61. And 67 there, Raymond Tolley from County Wexford. Crawford Carrick Anderson getting quicker as the time goes on. His second test was 2:61. Oh, but hang on, Crawford, don't go down there. I hope he doesn't do that again a little further along the track here. He'll never get back on course if he does. Tom Nill from Landrinder, test times of 2:68 and 2:75. This is Nick Plum from Neath, and I think he's getting a bit tired. Ewan Harrison nearly lost it then. The first of the Clubman riders coming round on lap 2. It's number 153, Hugh Watkins from Blackwood, and he's in the over 40s. And this is expert rider Julian Crimp, who's got a problem with his bike. Martin Field also in the over 40s. Now, although the Clubman riders have been on the test twice, they weren't timed on the first lap. 159, Wayne Goldin from Blackwood. Remember, the Clubman riders take a different route here to the Championship and Experts. That's Glenn Foxwell from Cairn. These chaps in the over 40s all seem to be coming through at the right time. 161, 161. It was Roger Shaw. Number 164 is Paul Armstrong. And he's doing the same as David Knight. The marshal here is Calvin Williams, and he's telling the next rider to hang on for a moment. Chris Hodgkinson putting his foot down in the rut, and I don't think he's found the bottom yet. I'm back at check 3. Well, I suppose it's check 6 for most of the riders. I'm not too sure what's happening now, because these are some of the Clubman riders, and they say they finished the day. This is Hugh Watkins' bike, and he's got a flat tyre, so what's going to happen now? Are you going to retire or what?
No, that's it. We're cutting a lap.
Oh, you finished now?
Yeah, Clubman are finished.
All the Clubman are.
Good Lord. Have a nice day.
Devastated. Flat front tyre. I'll have to go and change it tomorrow.
We've missed a golden opportunity there. I would like to have seen Hugh changing that tyre, but he's not going to do it today. Glenn Foxwell and Wayne Golding coming in to finish lap 2, and it's the end of the day for them. With the weather, though, I think it is a good decision to cut a lap off everyone. 187 there, Dan Lowe. It's a bit of a nuisance for me, though, because I was going to film the special test, and other than the championship riders, there won't be anyone else on there. That was Paul Boffin. Oh, and I see someone had a bit of trouble parking the car. This is Patrick Langan from York. Paul Edmondson, test times of 2:32, 2:33 and a 2:49. The third test has been slower for everyone. That was a Clubman rider. I think that was number 15, Richard Hay. David Rodenhurst, number 229. And Chris Birch, number 14. He's done some good times.
Hello!
2:06. It was Dan Thomas from Hay-on-Wye. This final lap for the championship class is going to be much tighter than the earlier ones. Championship rider Tom Sager and 191 Phil Cooper. David Knight coming in to finish lap 3, and on test times he's 12 seconds up on Paul Edmondson. Ryan Vose having a good ride, apart from his first test, a bit slow on that one. Number 316, Ian Pebbody from Basingstoke. That was 211, Jason Gooch. And the third one here, I think that's Joe Stevens. 201 is Jake Lomax with his jacket undone.
Right.
You're on the last lap. That's Edward Jones.
Got about a minute to spare.
This check now only 17 minutes. It was 23 on the last lap. So Simon Wakely cutting it a little bit fine. I think he'll have to use his minute here. And just behind him, number 4, Darrell Bolter. Darrell started the day a minute behind Simon, so he should be okay. This is Wayne Braybrook, and if he can stay clean on the going now, he's got to finish in the top 4 or 5.
13.
It's the next check from 11 to 12 that's going to be the real test. That's number 7, Dylan Jones, and his 4th test of the day, 304 seconds. Here comes Paul Edmondson, his final test of the day, 2:59, and he's about 16 seconds down on David Knight.
22.
Here's David Knight. He seems to be cruising through. He's leading on test times, and if anyone will go clean, then David will. And he's got about 50 yards to go before he's into the check. I wonder, can we catch up with him again?
Done.
Will you clean this next one, David? 37 minutes?
Last time at Titan 3.
Yeah.
Of course he will. We can go quicker than that. I wasn't going.
Good.
He'll be alright.
Well, the only problem for David now is he's about the last rider in the championship class, and he'll have to pass 1 or 2 of the others if he's going to clean this check. And I've just heard that some of the experts are getting stuck on this long check, so they may be a problem. And the first championship rider, Edward Jones, is here, and he's got a couple of minutes to spare.
Is that hill alright then, Edward?
Yeah, we haven't done that one hill.
No,
Frank,
no, the Clubman did that, didn't they? That's right, yeah. That has to be another championship rider. I think it may have been number 9, Robert Jones. And that's Ian Mundell coming in rather late on this final check. His wife has been waiting here for a long time, but at least he's finished. Look out, this one's in a hurry. It was a championship rider, someone on a husky. And here comes David Knight, like Edward Jones and Paul Edmondson. He's got 2, maybe 3 minutes to spare. And to make up this time, he must have passed at least a dozen riders in the championship class. Those must be championship riders there, straight into the check.
By the course back there, there's that, and follow it back in.
Just to the paddock.
4 miles. I'll just give you a splash of view of Justin's vans in the paddock.
Whereabouts is the hill? Still got cameras in. Wheels gone off the edge. The road is right.
We heard David saying then that someone has gone off the edge of the hill. Another rider going straight in. And that's about it, really. I can give you some results which are very provisional. In the championship class, the final check has been scrapped, and the overall winner is David Knight. The runner-up, Paul Edmondson, and Edward Jones finished in 3rd place. Those 3 riders were clean on the go-in, and so was Wayne Braybrook. And in the expert class, I think some allowance has been made on this final check. The overall winner there, number 80, Oliver Moyse. The runner-up was Craig Bounds, number 105, and Darren Wheeler finished in 3rd place. We're still awaiting the results in the Clubman classes. It's going to be difficult to sort out. Some of them did go clean today, but a lot of them have been held up on that hill climb. So that's it from the Brechfa Enduro, round 2 of the British Enduro Championships. Only a one-day event, but it certainly has been very testing.